Thanks everybody for joining us for this session on using AI in your display. We got Joel with us. I think I've sat in some of your other presentations in the past, and so I'm eagerly anticipating being wowed by what you're going to share with us today.
Well, Peter, I appreciate all your help and for being a host, and thank all of y'all for coming. I know you got some good choices out there, and appreciate you spending time with us this afternoon. Last year for AI, I think there was at the virtual Christmas summit, there was one class and I taught it. This year there are 3 classes. So AI is really blowing up in our hobby, and there's a lot of uses for it. And come on, mouse, cooperate. There we go. Many uses of AI in your display, and scratching the surface on what AI can add into your display. Things like static images, gives you a JPEG. You can import that into xLight. Moving images, which would give you an MP4. Voiceover, which would give you an MP3. Talking faces, which will give you an MP4 that you would import into xLights. Singing faces would also give you an MP4. A custom video gives you an MP4. Custom music gives you an MP4. So there's many different ways to use AI in your display, and the list I'm sure next year will be just as long, if not longer. Today's focus, mainly static and moving images. My name is Joel Deering. I live in Indianapolis. I've been blinking and flashing since 2014. Only been arrested twice for flashing. Also, I do a Z-Wave smart home in my spare time, which my wife hates, but it's fun for me. It gives me a personal sunrise when I get up in the morning and go staggering into a dark bathroom, and I don't want to hit those bright lights. Or on the other end of the spectrum, when I go to bed at night, I have my own personal sunset that the lights slowly dim and lull me off to sleep. I also have an old diesel Benz that I've had since, 1996, and that gives me some summer fun and a way to burn through my disposable income. Static images. Here are some of the ones that I've created just out of my mind. A little girl imagining the joys of Christmas and seeing the magic of it. A picture of Elsa, and I was able to make Elsa talk. We have action figure Santa Claus. We have a version of Frosty the Snowman that just has a lot of anxiety. We have a guy that's just geezed out of his mind. And then we've got a lady that looks like she's from 1958 and would be willing to tell you anything for your show if you wanted. All of those never existed until I wanted them to. And it's all through your mind. Static and moving images start with your imagination and vision. Just that easy. And AI software, of course. And that service to create the image, and writing a great prompt. Prompt writing, when AI first started to become a deal, prompt writing was, you become a prompt engineer and make $150,000 a year as a prompt engineer. You don't see many ads for those types of jobs now, because prompt writing is a skill. It's a pattern. You learn that prompt writing language, if you will. Something simple as middle-aged man with blonde hair and glasses. Figured let's see if we can make an image that kind of looks like me. That does not look like me, not even close. And I guess I kind of overestimated a little bit on the thought of middle age. I'm a little beyond that. But here again, with your imagination and vision, you can create just about anything you want as far as a static image or a moving image. If you want to go a little deeper on the details of writing prompts, and it all comes down to the prompt. Frosty the Snowman's brother. He's also got a touch of magic from that old silk hat. He's more human, still has the DNA of a snowman, but with a human-like face and human mouth and lips. He's looking at the camera. He is about 3 feet away from the lens. I want it to be a photorealistic image and 4K. Now, why the parentheses around certain aspects of the paragraph? And this was done in Leonardo.AI. In Leonardo.AI, if I put parentheses around certain aspects of the prompt that will tell Leonardo.AI to accentuate, make that aspect of the prompt more important. So I definitely wanted the image to be 3 feet away from the camera. Sometimes when you're doing prompts, it'll return something that you just don't want. It's just not right. And you'll do it over and over, and you'll tweak the prompt and tweak the prompt. And I've learned that if you just put parentheses, 3 of them, around a specific point that you're trying to accentuate, it will give you much better results with the prompt. And with this prompt, Leonardo.AI returned, oh my God, would you like to run into that in the dark alley? And here again, there was more to it than just the prompt. And if I would have changed what is called a LoRa or the type of model, I could have gotten a cartoon image, or I could have gotten a black and white image, or I could have gotten a shot that looked like Polaroid film from the 1970s. So there are many tweaks that you can go into with some of these software services and adjust it to give you a completely different look using this exact same prompt. And you'll get a different prompt using a different service as well. So using this exact same wording, Bing returns this. Now, this really looks a lot like Bing if you're familiar with it, in that it's all kind of soft. It's got somewhat of a blur to it. It all looks about the same. The aspect ratio is the same. But Bing always returns 4 images, but it's free. And just go to bing.com and mess around with it. Not sure what they're doing on the lower right. I didn't understand that based on the prompt. There are other services that do this. Tensor.ai returns something a little more Frosty the Snowmanish, not as human as I would have hoped. But here again, it looks like a snowman. It is very passable. And if you say, yeah, I liked that, don't ever throw one of your images away, because if you're signed up for the service and you log in and you sit there and create an image and you're just trying to get it just exactly the way you want it, and you go, this is about the best I'm going to get. The best one I've had was 3 or 4 images ago. Make sure you save them, because if you log out and don't save things or download it, you can certainly save it. And downloading it is as easy as right-click and save it to your computer, and it will save it as a JPEG. So this is another service, Tensor.ai. The same prompt, exact same words, returns something different from Bing, returns something different from Leonardo. And then I went in and tweaked the model just a little bit. I changed one of the drop-downs. One item changed, and it returned a guy that kind of looks like he's out in the woods, but he has a snowball on his head. The middle one looks a little scary, but is kind of what I was going for, but not as much of a snowman per se. And then the standard stock snowman. So Tensor.ai, with that same prompt and one tweak, returned 3 drastically different images. And if I would have run it again, it probably would have returned 3 more drastically looking images. So if there's something that you think might work or you're not sure, save it, because sometimes it's hard to recreate it if you don't catch it while you've got it staring you in the face. Now, where can you create images? Everybody talks about Midjourney. You can do that, of course. It's not a free service. I think it's $10 a month. Microsoft Bing is free. LimeWire, remember LimeWire used to be a peer-to-peer music swapping service. LimeWire was Blue Willow. There's Tensor.ai, Atubo.ai, Leonardo.ai, Genmo, Meta, Google. We'll have some fun with Meta in a minute. Meta's one is really pretty fun to play with, just to give you an idea of how you can mess with things and change images. Now, moving images. works on the same principle. The image on the left, I needed an image of a lady that was out in the cold and it's windy and cold, and she needs to be, reflect that. And I got this. Now you go, oh, that's pretty short. Yes, they are. Moving images, because it takes a lot of computing power to make them. They're about 4 to 7 seconds, and a lot of the ones that you might find that are 8 seconds, what they do is they create a 4-second video and play it forward and then play it backward. So that's how you get your 8 seconds. So they're not creating 8 seconds of different slides. They're just taking the first 4 and rehashing them. The candles was a replacement for an image that I had in xLights that was a wingding image from several years ago. And you could search through, and if you looked for the wingdings, you could find a candle. And I had found that, well, xLights updated. And so when I go to check all my sequences, all of a sudden my candle images weren't there anymore. So I went to AI and said, well, I need examples of a Christmas candle. And so I took a static image of a Christmas candle and I created many of them. And then I took the static image, uploaded it to Genmo, told Genmo to animate the image. And then granted, I only had 4 seconds, but I needed a little longer than that. So when I imported the MP4 into xLights, I was able to slow it down a little bit and mess with it and make it meet the needs that I was looking for to be an effect that was longer than 4 seconds. And what I got was this. So I zoom in, the wax is morphing. On some of the other ones that I created, there was smoke rising up off of them. The flames would flicker a little bit. And each one I saved because I knew I would never get another creation like that. So they turned out pretty cool and dramatic it was a TSO song. I think it's Mad Russian Christmas. It's very dramatic, and these old world Christmas candles just really set it off. So if you've got an image in your mind that's going to match the music, AI can help you get that image. Moving images, where can I create those? Runway.AI, I believe. Pika Labs, Genmo, Kyber, Leonardo.AI, Sora, Leapix. Sora is from the same people that bring you ChatGPT, OpenAI. And while Sora was hit with a lot of fanfare and everybody loved what Sora looked like, as of this date, it's not available to anybody. And I think they're just working on it because what they sourced out and created looked amazing. But what we're finding is that when a company releases something that says you can do great video, you don't always get exactly what you'd want. There's a lot of morphing, which I'll show you in just a minute. And a lot of times, if you wanted to do an example of a ballerina that twirls, well, she might twirl and one of her legs would disappear. So, it's moving images. Can you imagine the computing power it takes to do that? It's still not where it needs to be for what we're looking at. But however, you can sometimes get some short 4-second images that do look pretty cool, as long as they're not too complicated. With moving images, either you're going to start with a static image and animate it like I did with the candles, or you're going to write a prompt. How about a prompt like a vintage car glides through the snow covered streets, leaving behind a trail of tire tracks as it speeds away from the emptiness of a house not decorated for Christmas on a cold winter night. So here again, detail. Dig deep into your detail. Vintage of a car, if you want it to be a red car, say a red car. If you want it to be a red car that's a convertible, a red car with the top down. So go into massive amounts of detail to write your prompts. And in Leonardo.AI, I got the blue car. Now, what's interesting there is that as it drove away, it's not leaving tracks, it's covering them up. So that's one of the oddities about moving images. And also, it's only leaving tracks on the passenger side, nothing on the driver's side. Don't know why, that's just one of those things. And then in Genmo.ai, the exact same prompt, copied it and pasted it into Genmo.ai, gave me this. Genmo has a tendency to morph a little bit in creating its images. So let's run these again in Leonardo.ai. And then in Genmo.ai. So with Genmo.ai, what's interesting here is that through their concept, you're getting to see the change in model years from 1952 to 1958. That's how smart AI is. It's just giving you a preview of model years. Ever seen a car like that? Be cool to find one. With moving image, the pros, you can create anything you want with your imagination. It works well with xLights because you are creating MP3 files, you're creating JPEG files and MP4 files. And if you've had any experience with xLights, you know it's just you just import them and drop them in and mess with them a little bit. Some of the cons with moving images, videos are short. If you can loop them and it makes sense to loop them, yes, do that. I did some commercials for the Indiana Christmas Mini, and I did a commercial where I had, because the road construction around our venue was just awful the year before, I did one with construction workers talking about, well, the roads are done now, come on down, it's easier to get to. Well, the video that I created with the construction workers working was only 4 seconds. So I had to expand it to 7 seconds and then loop it in the video editor. So what I got were construction workers dancing. And what I have found with in doing videos like that, if you can poke fun at it, you know, the viewer goes, oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, okay, I get it. Another con with moving images is it's expensive, quote unquote. With Leonardo.ai, you get 150 tokens a day, which if you budget it out right is a lot of tokens, and you can get a lot done if you say, all right, I'm going to put AI images into my show, but you better not wait to the last minute because you'll run out of tokens doing repeats. So, you know, be 5 months out before your show launches to start creating your AI images, so that way you can create them and recreate them, and you know you'll burn through your 150 tokens in one day, and then you've got another 150 tokens the next day, and you can start all over again, and eventually you'll get what you need. So with moving images in Leonardo.ai, a static image I think is 5 tokens. A moving image is about 25 tokens. So if you're trying to get a moving image to be just right, just perfect, you know, you'll burn through your allotment pretty quickly. And you may get morphing and other artifacts, and that's why you end up doing it over and over and over. Meta AI. Use your Facebook for login details. At the bottom of the page, it's going to say, ask Meta anything. And then you're going to start with the word imagine. Let's see what I can do here. So if you want to unmute yourself and somebody give me an animal, or put one in the chat. Raccoon, perfect. What color raccoon? How about purple? Perfect. Purple raccoon. How about the ears being a different color? What color would you like to see the ears be? Yellow. How about doing something? How about riding a bike? While smoking a cigar. There you go. So here again, anything that you want. Now, if obviously this has nothing to do with Christmas, but if you were to create something like this in Christmas and you say, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that static image. You would right click, save the image as. It would be a JPEG file that you would save on your computer. So, and you saw real quick, you make a mistake, it goes away. So there you go. Just anything you can think of. Let's see here. Now Google has an image maker similar to this. It's not as cool in that it doesn't just create itself while you type, but you log into your Gmail account and you get this, and of course Google is going to churn through this a little bit, and for some reason it rearranges things. And why it highlights those specific words, I guess, well, here again, I'm messing with it. But there you go. A pink elephant riding a skateboard, drinking a can of cola. And you got to wonder if Coke has a deal with Google, because of all the cans of soda, Coke is the only one that you can really see. Interesting. Now, if I changed it to Pepsi, I don't know if it said Pepsi soda. I don't know if it changed it or not. But here again, if you like, I need to get rid of this 1 second. There we go. If you like this one, you just click the download button and it's going to save it as a JPEG, and you would import that into xLights, drop it on the track of importing an image, and it would show up. Obviously, you would trim the heads and tails with the transition. Well, I burned through that real quick. Questions?
Clem in chat has a question about using a REST API to automate the creating of random ideas and automatically save them for download later to use up your daily token allotments.
I know that each one of these services does have an API, and I'm pretty sure I've seen a lot of them that offer an API. I just wonder if you were to create an API, that it would, create images automatically for you. If you would be getting a lot of stuff that you just wouldn't need or want, and you're saying, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for, but I need to tweak it. I've just found that if you you want a pink elephant riding a skateboard drinking a can of Coke, or now you want a can of Dr. Pepper. So you go in and tweak your prompt to get it, you know, so that way it's holding a can of Dr. Pepper, or the elephant is not riding across the front of the lens. The elephant is riding towards you. So you would want to tweak the prompt to do that. And you won't know until you've got that image in front of you. Go, well, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Gee, I'd rather it was whatever. Tell me, Mr. Dawson, tell me about Flux. In the chat, there was a list. Have you used Flux? It's crazy good, and hands look more normal. I have found that with most of them, they've gotten the hands thing a whole lot better. A year ago, the hands were just awful. You had 6 fingers and 3 thumbs and that sort of thing, and they seem to have addressed that. Matter of fact, there was a quiz that was out there the other day. Can you tell the AI photo? And the giveaways in AI photos these days are now in the details, primarily the writing. Somebody had generated a picture of The Rock, and it looked pretty amazing. As whether or not it was an actual photo or an AI generated image. And what gave it away was The Rock was dressed in army fatigues, and the patch on his shoulder, the writing made no sense. It just looked like gibberish, and that's usually the tells. The details and the details in the background. If you're trying to see if something is an AI image or not, is take a look at the image in the details in the background. Looks like a Flux. It's getting back to Flux. It's image and video generation, and it's really good at text, logos, hands, and overall looking like a human. The link has a 10-second video sample. Very good. With someone at a conference. Wow, very nice. So yeah, it's last year at this time, text to videos just looked awful. This year we've got about 4 seconds, and now Flux is kicking it up a notch and making it really look pretty good. Sure. Question of show the list of apps for creating an image. There you go. And somebody put those in the chat. Can you walk through the Facebook option again? Sure. So with Facebook, you're going to go to meta.ai. You'll log in with your Facebook account, which will bring you to this page. And then down here at the bottom, you'll start out with the word imagine. And then you'll just let it flow from your fingers of what you're looking for. So obviously it gave me a cartoon image, but I wanted something photorealistic. And so if you add photorealistic on there, and there you go. And if that's something you wanted, right click. I wonder what the three dots will give me. There you go. Download it that way.
Have you found any keywords that says, that would work nice on a mega tree that's only 32 pixels wide? It
Hmm.
would like downscale to something or what? I don't know.
So what kind of let's say imagine an elf.
That would work on a light bright. Would it know? It doesn't know what a light bright is.
Elf image that would work on a, what would you call it? What was your request? A mega tree?
Mega tree or light bright or pixel art. Somebody mentioned in chat is pixel art.
So I would say no. When it goes blurry like that, it just tells
What
you like,
about
nope, sorry.
how would asking it for like doing a pixel grid of 32 by 32?
Now, if you were to, let's see, imagine an alpha image that would work.
Or even, well, maybe even dropping pixel and just making a grid.
I mean, that probably looks like what it would show up. I mean, you can almost imagine just each one of those being a pixel, something like that.
Mhm. I'm trying to take away the garbage in the background. Imagine an elf image on a white, on a,
Or maybe you have to ask for it to be like a simplified one or a line drawing or something, maybe. Or coloring book style.
elf image, solid white background that would work
Or
on a
even
pixel.
8-bit.
Here again, there's more garbage in the background. That might do it for you. So you can get lost in this meta thing and just waste hours of time. Any other questions? Pixel art. Is 10, 24, 768. Yeah, there you go. That worked. Suggestion in chat, constrain the image by a given pixel count.
Yep.
The question, does it download to your downloads or somewhere else? Depends on how you have your PC set up. Most likely, if you haven't changed anything, it'll download to your downloads. If you've set it to where ask me before you download stuff. That'll give you the opportunity to assign where it goes. Imagine an ELF 4K depth that fits within a 32 by 32.
4K depth if it's in. Yeah, see, you know, this has got fine black lines around there. There ain't no chance that's gonna look like that in xLights. I'm just trying to think of if there's some magic sauce that we can use to create. And somebody mentioned 8-bit graphics. That's, you know, it's really what we use, isn't it? A lot of those old SUP or whatever they're called, superstar images that were created. If we can create those, that'd be awesome. They
The
literally look
superstar
good
image was used in Lightorama, right?
but they're being sold and repurposed in xLights sequences too.
Mhm.
Like you look at a lot of the older PPD sequences, they have superstar graphics that they put out for their matrices and for their megatrees. And they're all based on like 8-bit graphics.
Imagine an
We used to
ELF.
use Pascal or whatever it was. So
Yeah.
if we could use AI to create that, that'd be awesome.
Imagine an ELF. Shown in 8-bit graphics.
I'm not sure Meta knows what a pixel is.
Yeah. And here again, you might have better luck using Leonardo.AI or Midjourney or something like that. Imagine an ELF being shown in 8-bit graphics.
So there's no limit, you know, like some of these other tools, you can only use so many minutes or so much tokens. With the Meta, there isn't any limit.
Yeah, you can sit here for hours. Now, the other thing though is this is your aspect ratio. It's 1:1. And if you want to do 16:9, Meta can't do that for you. Neither will Google, neither will Bing. So if you need 16:9 or if you need a different aspect ratio, you'll be better off going to Leonardo.AI. Here again, there's enough tokens per day that and with enough lead time, you'll get what you need.
Well, if we can come up with the right prompt here, we can put that right into xLights. Just drop an image.
Like that. Pierre put that in the chat. 32 by 32 art of a happy Christmas elf face on white background.
Getting there, but I can't imagine that looking good in a matrix.
Dawson suggests, do you use ChatGPT 4.0 for image generation too? I haven't. I use ChatGPT for generating ideas for copy more than anything, or to summarize text more than anything. I don't use it for art. Can you try imagine? Can you try without the imagine? I'm getting very different results than you are, but I'm not using imagine. Okay. So with imagine, you get to see it develop on the fly. That's my understanding. Now, if I do, I'm going to click the up button and it's going to go and try to produce 4 of them. So that's the different thing. With Imagine, you get to see it, produce it on the fly. So how's that? Is that something
Oh,
you're looking for?
that's looks awesome. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I would think any of those would work. Maybe the one on the bottom right might take a bigger matrix, but definitely definitely have potential. And what did you type in for that one?
Um, Elf in 4K as a thumbnail icon. Drop it to a 768 by 768 image.
Hmm, that's a good start.
Oh, 32 by 32 pixel art of Happy Christmas elf face on a white background. There we go. That's what it is. That's what it was.
Yeah, that'd be a good start. I mean, you can almost turn that into singing faces too, with a little bit of paintwork here, you can make that into a singing face pretty easily.
Yeah. And if you were thinking of what, using D-ID or something like that to do it for you, it can be a little picky. The AI class from this morning introduced a new one, Hedra. Um, Looked like it might be a little more forgiving as far as requiring a nose and a mouth um, that are more defined. That's what D-ID demands. And with Hedra, he showed a skeleton, and I've never been able to get a skeleton to do anything in D-ID. Whereas in Hedra, he got it to sing. Now there were some artifacts. The mouth didn't look perfect. Um, it added eyes to it, so there was, you might have to go, okay, I'll live with that. And it may very well just be able to take an image like this and make it sing for you. Oh, you mentioned that I don't know why the image is different. That's just, that's just what's weird about AI. And maybe, Meta is going, hey, I keep getting the same request. Maybe it's the same person requesting over and over and over. And if you regenerate, you're going to get something different. Trying to see where regenerate is here. Expand. Yeah. So if I was to hit regenerate, it's going to take that same prompt and pull up something different. Now, if you didn't save what you had before, you can't go back. I use 3P5, 1P10, and a space 370 matrix prop. Any way to have this tool maximize image based on a different number and distance between lights of each matrix. Yeah, that's probably a level of thought that, that I never considered. Yeah, I don't know how you do that on the fly like that. Okay, let's try this. So I would say no. Let's try again. Hedra.com. Yes, this is what was shown this morning. Join through Discord, and I should have my Discord up and running. All right, maybe not. Thought I could sign in through Discord. All right. Don't want to do that. But yes, that link for Hydra was the one. When you generated random token, it also sent some services also allow you to type your own token or view it so you can get regen with very similar results. Yeah, there's a lot of times where you want the same. So you're doing a series of images and you want the same face to be in each image. And if you regenerate, you're going to get different facial features. They have progressed now, which I think this kind of addresses that. When you generate a random token, it's also sent, and you'll get the same face in each images. So if you're doing a series of images, you have the same thing. xLight does it best, but okay, thank you. All right. Answering the question about the P5s and P10s, may need to just go with scale to fit in xLights. If you wish to use one single image, create separate size images for each. There you go. My mega tree is closer to what most on here would call their mini. So I ended up having to use Adobe Photoshop to resize a number of items, but hoping AI can perhaps make that easier. I would think so, but I would imagine you would need to go into Leonardo.AI because there you've got so many more options to get aspect ratio and use different LoRa's and just all kinds of tweaks and stuff that you can do. It wouldn't surprise me if one of the things in Leonardo.AI would be pixel art. You could take it all the way down to that. And one thing, when you sign on to Leonardo.AI, when you first log into it, you're met with, I think I've got that pulled up. You're met with the home page and all of this stuff that people have created. And if you see something here, you go, oh, that's cool. So here's some of this cartoon art. You better grab it because it produces so much of it that you'll never see it again. And you can easily download this. Just right click. Well, hang on. Maybe that's not it. Click on it, and then you can download the image, or you can copy the prompt. Somewhere there is a way to download it. I've seen it. There it is. Download the image. So if that's something that has interest for you for your Halloween, you probably get a lot of Halloween stuff because there's some pretty weird people out there. Let's say you wanted this in your Halloween display. Grab it while you see it, because if you say, oh, I'll get it a couple of days later, you'll never find it. Well, we're smoking up on time. Anybody else got any more questions? Photoshop AI could help and expand image to your desired aspect ratio. Great. Good idea. Well, thank you all for coming. I know that, like I said, you had some pretty good choices opposite this, and very grateful that you've took some time out to spend it in here. Oh, well, by the way, next up is Carl. He's going to do a thing on AI music, which would be pretty cool. And that's, I think, one room over, one room up and over. And that starts in 10 minutes. So thank you.